until September. Let's see, where's my father's picture? I don't even see it now. Let me get it real quick. I'm running out of time. This is my dad, Edward VIII, who didn't marry Wallace Simpson. This is video 2. I ran out of space. This is my Uncle George planning my kidnapping with Roosevelt in 1939, the year I was born. Okay, now, so that I get this up, it's video 2. I'm going to finish this. I started on this video, number 2, continuing with the takedown of my father and the global government being brought about because of that, the takedown, the treaties that were illegal. But Honduras and El Salvador and some of the countries are the people that are in coming up through the border through Mexico trying to get to the United States, and there's just a whole bunch of them. Okay, if all those people are allowed, or any part of them, into the United States, it's going to do to the United States just what was done to Great Britain, to Turkey, to Germany. I mean, it's going to overflow. They've had to take in people because of the very reason that I'm just saying. The United States and the Freemasons, the Illuminati, went in, and part of it, the Freemasons and Illuminati were already there. The Rothschilds, well, the people that kidnapped me, I've already put this up, Rockefellers, all that, and part of my own family, and Winston Churchill, etc. But now, so that this doesn't go off, Honduras was overrun, taken out. 1964, it was a British colony till then. Then it became an independent Belize in 1973. And then in 81 of September, it became fully independent as Belize. But this is the takedown of my country, the British Empire, as it went along after the United States did all this to us in 36 and me, and kidnapped me in 41. This is a colony of Jamaica. Jamaica was an English colony about 1655 or 1670, and a British colony because of disturbances in Jamaica and rest of the region. That British in 1938, listen to the dates, after 36, taking my dad down. So from 1655 to 1962, and John Kennedy became president then, okay? JFK, who helped kidnap me and take down my father. Now, I'm going to try to get to this if I can, and put this up if I can hold it straight. So I'm just going to give you a part of the overthrow of the governments all over the world and forming your global government known as the Illuminati controls. It's known as the United Nations up in New York City. So that's how it came to be. Jerusalem, the Jews, because of their part in helping kidnap me and take down my father, and putting Elizabeth's father in, who's illegal, George VI. They invaded, and now the United States, really it's the United Nation, it's your global government, is in all parts of the country. They control all the governments. Now then, what's happened is they went into Honduras and everything British and created the disturbances, and that's a cute little word, that made people have to run. They install regimes, are responsible for it, and now then they're running, just like they did over to those that ran into Turkey, the UK, etc., trying to find a home, because this whole mess, the wars, was created, and you have to make the people in charge the bad guy. Well, my father was loved, so they took him down with character assassination and lies. He never married Wallace Simpson. He was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. And I was born in 41. Well, I was kidnapped in 41, and I put that up. Born in 39. JFK helped in my kidnapping. So you get the gist, even though I'm not can't keep it all in order because this is going to go out, and I don't think I'm going to have any more space. But you get the gist from here. You can follow it if you care. It was the Brits were fighting against our self-made too when the United States, the Illuminati, invaded us along with part of my own people. Let me get that in. Winston Churchill. What countries did England colonize? Okay, Britain, Anglo-Egyptian, Sudan. Okay, there's some more there if you care to look up. There's a bunch they talk about. Kenya, northern Sumatra, British America. But anyway, long list. Well, where are we now? The United Nations controls everything, even kidnapped the monarch and put up their own. But I've just put here when Jamaica became totally taken out. 1962 wasn't British anymore. John F. Kennedy had become president then. He helped kidnap me. Anyway, I've said about all I can there. I wish I had been able to had a dictaphone or something. It might have worked out better. I did want to put this in while I have time. When I got the letter from the FBI down June the 23rd of 79, which is my father's birthday, June the 23rd of 23rd, of course, he was born years ago, but this letter from the FBI was in 79, June the 23rd, using my father's birth date. But I was down there again after it had almost been killed, April Fool Day of 80. And here's the way they've done things in stages, and it's like pieces of a puzzle, me finding out my real name and what happened to me and my father and all this overthrow of the British government to establish the United Nations, the global government referred to in the Bible. I put this up too on other. Okay, now they did like. I was back there after I was almost killed, and this is like, and so much in between that was done to me. I was back on Peachtree Street downtown Atlanta at the FBI building, and I had called, and I was on the street really. Everything stripped from me, and in between I'd worked for the district attorney in Huntsville, computer science, and Golden Triangle, which was the CIA there on Sparkman Drive. But anyway, back to this. Before my tape is always going off here. I was back down there, and I called and to the person I thought was Michael Keown at the time, Keown, special agent. Anyway, he told me if I would come get down there in 20 minutes or so, he would be able to talk to me. So I got there. Remember, I've been in and out, and my husband did over the years. Last year's there, 79, 78, to the FBI headquarters downtown. So I got down there, and I sit and I wait, and I wait, and I wait. Then he comes out, and it's not the Michael Keown I thought. It's a shorter version of somebody, you know, and he comes out, and he says he's Michael Keown, the one that just talked to me. Well, I'm not going to call him a liar right there about him being Michael Keown. But anyway, he's talking to me, and right away he's gruff, and he says, I don't have time to talk with you. And he just told me if I came down, he could talk to me and everything. And I did, and here's what he's doing. He's acting a little like the FBI agent here in Roanoke did when I talked about the twins' birth certificates. They gave me the name of the twin, Peggy, and that's what I have to use as ID. And I got a hold of the birth certificates of the twins, and they were marked through the date of birth because it didn't jive with the date they gave me when they brought me over here. So I said something to the FBI agent here at the POF building, and I won't go any further than that. He did come out to see me, and he sat there in the waiting area, and I said talking to him, and I was talking about Atlanta and me doing the book and run the campaign. Of course, he already knew. And I said I wanted to say why they can't do something about the birth certificates, the twins, where they put me and gave me. And he starts acting like he's crazy with his hands flying all around. I don't want to hear about any birth certificates. Well, he was role playing. I mean, FBI agents don't just go bunkers and pretend they're nuts and their hands in the air and all this without a reason. Now I'm going back to Atlanta in 82. I'm downtown FBI headquarters, and the one I thought was Michael Ken came out, and suddenly he can't talk to me, and yet he's going around and he's acting like he's nuts. So then he says, you know, we don't have time. We only have time for heads of state. Okay? But yet they stood there and he brought out the other one. I won't give background on that FBI agent. I knew him too. So they're doing this running around the chair and saying, we don't have time for you, just heads of state. But they spend at least 20 some odd minutes talking to me. So head of state is what you get from it, that I'm a head of state. Now I want to go back to what I was just reading here, if I can get it up here. The number of countries with the British Empire gained independence in stages during the early part of the 20th century. Much of the rest of the empire was dismantled in 20 years following the end of the Second World War. That's when they took out, they went in and took out my father and me and installed George in the global government, the Illuminati, which is now your United Nations out of New York, where the Rockefeller headquarters is. Okay, I'm going to keep on with this. The independence of India and Pakistan in 1947. It's after I was kidnapped in 41, my dad taken down in 36. And ending with the handover of Hong Kong to China in 1997, recently, you know. Many of former territories of the British Empire are members of the Commonwealth of Nations. You're getting back to the United Nations. Okay. The Commonwealth of Nations of the retained British monarch as head of state, which they're saying, Elizabeth, you know, that's who she's supposed to be. If she's a fraud, I am. So I referenced you back to what the FBI said to me in 1982 when I was there with the head of state and their role playing. Under the authority of the League of Nations, get this, the United Nations, or United Nations, what they say there too, much of the rest of the empire dismantled 20 years following the end of World War II. The takedown of my dad, kidnapping me, installing their own monarch, etc. Okay, I'll just get to this because you get the gist of it. As of today, October the 23rd, 2018, British overseas territories are, we still have Bermuda, British Antarctica Territory, British Indian Ocean Territory, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, and Antigua. Okay, I'm just naming some. I don't have the time on the tape it here. Okay, territories included those formerly under the sovereignty of the British monarch, who held additional title of Emperor Empress of India till India went with everybody else in 1947. Well, it's because of the takeover. All this happened and made Great Britain fight against itself. But I want to remind you before I go here, because I've said it enough. If you care, you can go look up the history of the British Empire and what's happened to me and what I've said over the years, mind you. And the takedown of my father, which his name is slaughtered up there with, you think he's the worst person in the world rather than being the greatest man that walked, other than, I'm going to go ahead and say it, Werner von Braun. Okay? I hope people have to see what they've done to my sons and me, to my father and mother, And to the United States touts it as being the Brits and the Americans have this. I'm going to blank it out. Great relationship. You know what the relationship is? That you kidnapped me. You took down my father, installed your own Illuminati. And that's the reason that you've created the wars. You went over and killed Saddam Hussein. You call his two sons killers. You're taking out, look at all the chaos that's been created over there. You did it. You have to make everybody else look bad to make yourself look good. And so far, you all are living. Just look at this up here on TV. This is what I get to see every day. I turn it on, and this media is controlled by the Illuminati, and they have not told any of the truth. They're the people that should be locked up. They're criminals. They have helped create all this. So the invasion that's coming toward the United States was instigated a long time ago when you used the Brits and went in and made us fight against themselves in Honduras, and all of it became American, really. Is the sick joke in it all. That's all I'm going to put up. I feel bad. People tell you to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. And when you do, you know what they do? They go after you, me, and they'll kill you. Got it?